Chinese search giant Baidu, often called the Google of China, has set an ambitious goal, bringing autonomous vehicles, like this one, to the world's #1 car market. The company said it's been road testing 2 prototype BMWs equipped with a laser radar, sensors and cameras. Baidu's car uses in-house mapping data and deep learning technology in which a computer simulates the brain by learning from massive amounts of data. For now, Baidu is well behind its main global competitor. Google's car can already tackle more complicated maneuvers. Baidu is trying to catch up with other technology heavyweights, like Samsung, that are challenging car makers including Mercedes and Tesla Motors in a race to develop technology for self-driving and internet-connected cars. According to an American consulting firm, self-driving cars won't hit the road until 2025. But automated driverless bus services have already been put on trial, or will soon be, in several cities across Europe and Japan. Baidu says it aims to launch autonomous vehicles for use as public shuttles within 3 years.
One of the most buzzed about showings at the Consumer Electronics Show was a preview of the driverless car. We can expect to see urban driverless technology like this hit the market in the next 10 years. For the PBS NewsHour in Las Vegas, I'm Steve Goldblum.
The idea for this trip came about after a very successful show in CES 2015 in January. So we started to think, what would benefit the technology, and also what would help us prove out that this car is capable of moving to market quickly. We decided that collecting 2.5 terabytes of data and being the first to go coast to coast in the United States with a self-driving car or an automated car would be pretty compelling. How does a car drive itself? An analogy that we like to make when you ask is think about how a human works. If you think about your eyes, your ears, and your nose as the sensors, the same thing happens with vision and radar and laser on the vehicle. The controller is kind of like your brain, and the smart logic and the software that runs on that is really the heart and soul of how the car drives itself.
If we could let ourselves forget everything we know about cars, would we invent the same car industry we have today? What would happen if we just started clean? Make a smarter car that says more about our hopes than our frustrations. What if a car could make the city turn its volume down? And what if the back seat was the new front seat? And what if all those cars parked in driveways had more interesting lives? And we did too. And what if we created new spaces, not for sheet metal, but for people? What if you didn't so much own a car as use one whenever you need it? And what if every drive was the opportunity to make a smart choice for the planet? We believe the next generation of us requires a new generation of car, because so much of the future depends on how we get there. So, come with us.
So the green flag is waved. Once everything is safe, Bobby is absolutely away. The first piloted car here at the Hockenheim Ring with Audi. This RS7 accelerates now towards the Nord curve of turn 1. You can see that, look, it's being steered by nobody. It's being controlled by the intelligence. A great line through turn 1, heading up now towards turn 2. Just look at the speed. We're approaching 180 kilometers an hour as we go into turn 2. Brilliant braking, all assured and controlled. You can hear the 560 horsepower being unleashed through 3 and 4. And now it's the Parabolica. As the tens of thousands of fans here witness history in the making from Audi piloted driving. This is a fantastic shot from our helicopter that is tracking the car. Now, this is going to be crucial. Heavy braking as the car reaches 220 kilometers an hour and brakes now for the hairpin. Brilliant line through the hairpin, measured, controlled, accurate, precise, and then the acceleration out of the hairpin as we head down towards turn 7 now. This is Bobby, and it's Bobby completely on its own with no driver in there, looking very assured and very comfortable. All the fans in the grandstand can hardly believe what they are seeing right now. This car is being driven by technology, by intelligence, and look at that line as it's straight through Turns 9 and 10 absolutely perfectly, taking exactly the optimum line that you would expect a top racing driver to take. Heading down now towards turn 11, turns in, and now this, the Sachs turn, where racing drivers choose different lines. Now Bobby here choosing to hug the inside there, just a little bit of curb, unleashes the power once again. We have turn 13 and 14 to do before a lap at racing speed is completed by a piloted car. This has been absolutely perfect. Not 1 foot wrong. It has been precise as it heads towards the start-finish line. The absolute optimum lap as the car comes to a stop now. That was truly awesome.
You know, our experience driving around, we're here in Michigan. There's a lot of winter here. We're used to the conditions changing very rapidly. As humans, we understand that that can happen and we know how to deal with it. And we need to make sure that our autonomous vehicle can also deal with those situations in the same way. One of the real strengths of autonomy is that we have the sensing all the way around the vehicle that's constantly vigilant. And we feed that to these really powerful computers with algorithms that use all that information to do a lot of what-if planning. And then when we have to do something like, say, make an evasive maneuver, we can train the vehicle to do that maneuver. And so we can have the vehicle drive in those situations, especially slippery, low grip situations like there are in snow, in a way that an expert, highly trained driver would have.
We found that with the Snowtonomy, we were able to localize the vehicle even though the ground was snow covered, and the vehicles were able to operate under some level of snow conditions and maintain the performance of the sensors. In the real world, you don't always have the perfect sunny weather. So we feel it's important to test in weather like snow, and not only to do the testing to understand how the system performs and how we can improve it, but also to let the public know we are looking at these conditions and we're looking at how to make our systems robust to these kind of weather conditions.
Welcome to our vision for a highly automated car and its unique driving experience. Although it looks like your common everyday car, a host of smart new features ensures that driving is no longer a chore. It helps to reduce the load on the driver by taking care of highway driving. Philip, a young professional, has been using his new car for a few weeks now. The car has been learning from his routines and can predict destinations. On selecting the destination, the car allows Philip to optimize his time by balancing the share between manual and automated driving. As Philip sets off, he looks at the upper left corner of the instrument cluster where the drive state indicator is located. It is a quick reference for the time left in the current driving mode. Apart from the regular navigation view, the split display provides Philip with an overview of his route. With this, Philip has a clear picture of where automation is available. He can access additional features with aid of the menu on the left. As he approaches the ramp to the highway, one of the maps switches to the top view so that he has a better view of his surroundings. After entering the highway, the drive state indicator communicates to Philip that automation is available. Also, two special buttons on the steering wheel start glowing. As Philip presses them simultaneously for 3 seconds, the car switches to automated mode. Philip can now confidently take his hands off the wheel as he knows that the car is in full control. With the free time in hand, Philip decides to get some work done and opens his office inbox via apps. For a better view, he moves the inbox to the top panel and goes through his unread messages. Philip can perform common actions by interacting with the on-screen buttons or with voice commands. He starts to dictate his reply to an email. It's not the same as working at his desk, but with the new car, Philip can be productive even while on the road. While on the highway, the car encounters a slower-moving vehicle in front and sees an opportunity to change lanes. It communicates its intention by displaying a visual on the instrument cluster and a notification on the central display. If Philip wishes, he can select this notification to access the top view and monitor the maneuver. Once the car has completed the maneuver, Philip can rate it based on common driving parameters. This helps the car to learn his preferences and to improve its motion behavior for better comfort. Having taken care of all the important work, Philip still has some time left before taking back manual control. He decides to relax and watch a few online videos. When it is time for Philip to take back control, he is notified in steps. With a few minutes left, the drive state indicator switches to orange, and then red, depending on the urgency of the situation. If Philip still doesn't take back control at this point, the car would find the next safe spot on the shoulder and pull over. Switching to manual mode happens in the same way as activating automation. As Philip presses the buttons simultaneously for 3 seconds, the car switches back to manual mode. On reaching his destination, the car provides Philip with some smart statistics on his journey. At a glance, Philip can compare the efficiency of the car in manual and automated modes, and also his savings. From being a mere mode of transport, the car has evolved to become a part of Philip's digital lifestyle. It allows him to be productive when he is on the move and can be relied upon for needs far beyond mobility.
The car that we have here is capable of driving itself from the entry of a highway to the exit. We are contributing in this way to lowering the number of deaths and injuries on the road, but also relieve the flow of traffic on highways, which are often congested. We aim to be operational by 2020, the year that Tokyo will welcome the Olympics.
You know, the first drive on public roads is something that we've been thinking about, and every moment has been building towards putting these cars on the roads where we can start learning even more from them.
When you look at the car that came out around Christmas, was the first vehicle that had kind of everything integrated and was kind of our first push through our manufacturing line. We've now been able to take that, do some reliability testing with it, and to make sure that everything really hangs together the way it's supposed to before we get them out onto the roads.
We've made the car hot, we've made the car cold, we've done durability testing, we drive it through a reliability bump track.
Getting these cars out into the public and allowing people to react to them, allowing us to see them out there, I think that's a huge deal. And most importantly, it's the necessary step to getting them to drive themselves. When we think about safety, when we think about giving people mobility, and then when you start to think longer term about the impact on cities and the ability to reclaim space and to reduce congestion and free up parking, this is something where we can have a huge impact. It's exciting to see the arc of this project as it's moved to something that's starting to be realized, and then, you know, the next step where we get to start to see people using it, and really, that'll be just fantastic.
Well done, Mr. Miles. I'll take it from here.
The cars are just gonna go ahead and take it from here. Uber is totally pulling a kit from Knight Rider and introducing its self-driving cars to the streets of Pittsburgh. Full disclosure, it's not nearly as sexy as a Firebird. Feast your eyes on that autonomous hybrid Ford Fusion. This unique Uber car will operate in the Steel City over the coming weeks while collecting mapping data and testing self-driving capabilities. And that's all done with some high-tech sensors, laser scanners, radars, high-res cameras, that sort of thing. If all goes well, the driverless coalition Uber partnered with last month, which includes Lyft, Ford, Volvo, and Google, could have a little more proof that cars sans drivers aren't as scary as some believe them to be. Heck, they might even be safer. Uber said it's still getting the technology right, so the car won't be totally driving itself. To ensure your safety, there will be a person in the driver's seat to take over manual control.
Manual override engaged.
You know, just in case the driver finds his or herself in an iRobot type of situation.
Oh, hell no.
You are experiencing a car accident.
There are a lot of companies investing in autonomous driving, but there's one outfit out of San Francisco that's taking a different approach. Comma.ai, founded by George Hotz, is building kits that allow drivers to change their cars for less than $1,000 into autonomous vehicles. So we decided to come to Las Vegas to see how close Hotz was to reaching his goal.
Driving is a surprisingly intuitive process. You might not think this if you look and you go to the DMV and you read the book about exactly how many feet you need to stay behind a school bus. Nobody drives like that. People will cross lane lines all the time. People will cross double yellows all the time, right? Driving is this intuitive, fluid thing, and to really be able to drive well, you need to predict what everybody around you is doing. We are Comma AI, and our slogan is Ghost Riding for the Masses. We have a very data-driven approach. We believe in gathering large amounts of data on the driving problem and learning how to drive from that data instead of sitting in a room with a bunch of engineers talking about how driving works and building what we think is a good driver. We actually get data from good drivers or even bad drivers, so we learn what not to do, put that into our machine learning algorithms, and what we get is a driving agent.
What's the biggest advantage of the system that you have?
It drives like a human. Our goal and our approach is to drive really just by watching people drive, to learn every part of the system. We are in a 2016 Acura ILX. We are self-driving.
All right, so hands are off the wheel.
Comma's glowing. If I were to step on either pedal, you would hear that disengagement chime. There's no trickery with my feet. I mean, it's difficult to bring them up here, but I swear I'm doing nothing. There are two absolute minimum requirements that we need. One is electronic power steering. Most new cars today shipping have this. So if we have electronic power steering, the steering wheel is electronically actuatable. We also need a way to electronically actuate the gas and the brakes. Now, in every fuel-injected car, there's some way to do the gas. Brakes, I don't think there's a single car that's brake-by-wire, but Because of these systems like electronic stability control and adaptive cruise control, there are electronic ways to hit the brakes. If your car has electronic stability control and electronic power steering, there's a chance we can make it work.
Staying in the center.
We're staying in the center.
Feels all right. There's a little bit of side to side.
Well, there's a little bit of wind, honestly.
You can actually see the steering wheel. It kind of moves a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Right and left. But for the most part, we're doing pretty good here.
It will be aftermarket and user installable, about on par with setting up a piece of IKEA furniture. Not all cars will obviously be supported, only certain ones at launch. We hope to expand that selection over time.
Spending the day with George Hotz in the Comma.ai car was pretty cool. It definitely still has its kinks, but for the most part, it delivers on its promises. And if George Hotz can deliver that product by the end of the year for less than $1,000, we'll be well on our way to driverless cars.
Lyft and General Motors announced this morning that they are teaming up to create a national network of self-driving cars. GM will invest $500 million in Lyft and take a seat on the ride-sharing startup's board of directors. It will also become a preferred provider of cars for short-term use to Lyft drivers. It's a natural partnership, as Lyft knows all about getting people into cars they don't own, and GM's been working on autonomous technology for about a decade.
All right, let's go. Renault-Nissan Chairman Carlos Ghosn is adamant autonomous drive cars are coming quickly. So fast, he took us for a ride in a Nissan Leaf autonomous drive test vehicle to show us how these cars are close to being ready for everyday driving.
His hands are off the wheel, he's doing nothing. We're just, following everything. And you see, we're going to be in configuration which are complicated, you see. The car is putting itself on the right lane.
This ride in the Silicon Valley highlights a top initiative for Ghosn, bringing a completely autonomous drive car to market by 2020. As we maneuvered through traffic effortlessly, Ghosn was pleased with the technology, but admits there's still work to do.
One of the most difficult problems that they need to solve is people with bicycles, because I don't respect any rule usually, and the car confuses them because from time to time that are like pedestrians, and from time to time they behave like, cars.
Nissan, along with automakers including Tesla and tech firms like Google, are all racing to build driverless vehicles. While Ghosn says there will always be some who want to drive their car, the connectivity and technology in autonomous drive vehicles will spark demand from consumers who want something more out of their automobile.
It's going to become your space. They're going to love it. I'm going to tell you why. Because this is not about kicking the driver out of the car. This is telling the driver you're empowered.
As the ride around the Silicon Valley showed us, Nissan and its chairman are close to putting driverless cars out on the road and changing how people see and use their cars. Well, you didn't disappoint.
The BMW Group, chip manufacturer Intel, and Mobileye, a specialist in computer vision and machine learning, have announced a forward-looking partnership.
Together with our great partners, Intel and Mobileye, we will develop the necessary solutions and innovative systems for highly and fully automated driving. We will bring these technologies into serious production for 2021 with the BMW iNext.
It's a goal to which Intel and Mobileye will contribute valuable expertise.
Intel brings a set of unique technologies to this partnership. We're bringing what we believe to be some of the best computing capabilities on the planet.
Mobileye brings our leading-edge algorithms and system-on-chip for machine perception, fusion, localization, and machine intelligence for path planning.
The three partners are to become a pioneering force in the field of autonomous driving.
For us always, the consistent and defining principle is
Safety and privacy first. All other things, like potential business ideas, marketing, second. With our collaboration, we aim to set an automotive industry standard with state-of-the-art autonomous driving technologies. And we have agreed with our partners to make our cooperation open to other companies too.
An autonomous test drive in a highly automated prototype is already scheduled for the not-too-distant future.
Would you trust a self-driving car to ever do this? Passing an 18-wheeler in icy conditions while you're playing patty cake. Or how about these guys? As their Tesla cruises along, they're playing games like Jenga. Too exhausted to drive? How about a little shut-eye? And check out this road trip, playing cards, arm wrestling, reading books. We found several videos on social media showing motorists putting enormous faith in the Tesla's self-driving technology. The videos come in the wake of the first death of a Tesla driver while on autopilot.
That's very foolish.
Bob Sorokonich is news editor for Road and Track magazine.
You do need to have your hands at the ready and your feet at the ready, because you don't know when the technology is going to say, I can't figure out what's going on, you need to drive now.
I'm just chilling with my invisible chauffeur.
In this video, the Tesla owner is in the passenger seat. There's not even a warm body behind the wheel.
By myself. It's going about 70 miles per hour.
Nico Rosales is the guy in that video. It does seem wildly dangerous, 70 miles an hour, and there's nobody behind the wheel.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous, but I have a lot of faith in their autopilot system. Despite it being in the beta stage, it was pretty safe and secure.
This Tesla's owner says he had a close call when he says his Tesla suddenly veered into the path of an oncoming car. Whoa. The Tesla driver was so upset he posted video of the incident under the headline, "Tesla Autopilot tried to kill me." Had I not reacted quickly to jerk the steering wheel in the opposite direction, I might have clipped it. Whoa.
In a statement, Tesla told Inside Edition that Autopilot, quote, does not turn a Tesla into an autonomous vehicle and does not allow the driver to abdicate responsibility.
Driverless cars are coming to the streets of Britain, or at least to the pavements of Milton Keynes.
This is one of 3 public trials of autonomous vehicles as developers start to turn their prototypes into the driverless cars of the future.
So this is the Lutz Pathfinder pod. It's equipped with 21 different sensors to allow it to build a 3-dimensional picture of the topology of Milton Keynes. This is a laser radar which can tell you very accurately how far you are away from something. Because we're right at the start of the research and development project, the vehicle is equipped with a steering wheel and foot controls, a brake and an accelerator. Eventually these parts will disappear. Ultimately, all you'll see inside the pod are 2 iPads, one of which will be used for planning your journey. The pod will automatically take you there. The second iPad will be there for your pleasure.
A different kind of autonomous vehicle will be tested on a designated route in Greenwich, London.
Automated transport can improve the safety and efficiency of urban mobility, and I think they can play an important part in improving the environment in complicated urban landscapes.
Do you think people here in Greenwich will be hopping on these in the future? Or after these trials have gone, are we going to see these vehicles still here? Or?
We can look to see where it will work most effectively, where do people want to get on and off. The route we're on now is going to a residential area, so maybe joining that residential area to the tube station will mean people are less likely to take their cars and more likely to use public transport, which is better for the city environment.
Is this the next step on the road?
I think this is on the spectrum where we've already had the Heathrow pods, and we're seeing the developments of the pods in Milton Keynes, and I think the shuttles is another step along that development where we're looking at fully automated vehicles in more complicated environments. What we need to understand is how people choose to use it and what services they like and the way it's accepted into the overall transport picture.
Please select your destination. These prototypes will start their trial journeys in the spring. Although people hoping to get their own driverless car to take from A to B must wait a little longer. That kind of technology, according to one developer, could be 10 years off.
Back in the day, the boffins that actually made the cars shoved a semi into everything. Semi-autonomous steering, semi-autonomous parking, you name it. It had a semi.
The
Tech firm has teamed up with French company EasyMile, which provided the auto-driving software in developing the self-driving bus. The EZ10 robot shuttle, which runs entirely on electricity, can be ridden by up to 12 people. Driverless, the EZ10 robot shuttle is guided by a predetermined route set by its global positioning system and external cameras. The EZ10 contains aluminium and fiberglass components in its bodywork, making it lightweight and durable. When asked about the safety of the bus in light of the recent Tesla crash, General Manager of Dana Hiroshi Nakajim emphasizes that safety measures are taken very seriously. The shuttles will provide transportation for users on privately owned property such as schools and theme parks. A mall in Chiba Prefecture will be the first to implement the shuttle services within its facilities. Operation of the self-driving bus are expected to begin next month.
want to insult you, but you humans aren't that great at this driving thing. You bump into each other, you clog the same routes at the same time, and you're overwhelming the Earth with pollution. It's getting bad out there, but I can help. Hi, I'm Ollie, and I would like to be your driver. I'm a self-driving electric vehicle meant for multiple people and optimal flexibility, designed from the ground up by Local Motors to be the next generation of mobility. I can operate like a chartered shuttle, run like a taxi service, or manoeuvre like a network of interconnected pods. I am the first of the robots that are taking over. Kneel at your new master. I jest. While I can see in 360 degrees and can make decisions hundreds of times faster than you, I am monitored at all times by a central human operator, so you can feel completely safe while I'm in charge. I'd love to help move people across your town, or zip students across campus. Or maybe I will fill a new niche for you. A mobile gym, anyone? A bus cafe hybrid? How about a meeting that actually picks up its attendees? I just blew your mind a bit, didn't I? I can't wait to see where we'll go together. All you have to do is to call me up through your smart device and leave the driving to me. Get to know me over at meetollie.auto and learn how forward-thinking transportation will make the world and how you get to point B more efficient and enjoyable. I'm Ollie, your friendly neighbourhood mobility solution. I hate to be smug, but I'm pretty impressive when you think about it, aren't I?